Hey guys, this is Nico and I'm back for another video. Today I will be reviewing Marion's This Strange Engine. I will give you a little background on Marion here. Marion are sort of the group who kicked the progressive rock revival with such bands as Pendragon and IQ and obviously these guys here, which they dominated neoprog at the time, it was new. They brought the old classic sounds from the 70s back to and made it 80s stuff where they introduced electronics, more keyboards, which is really gets to start like in the breaks in progressive metal. They use a lot of influence for neo-prog in there. Like Dream Theater uses some influences with their different types of keyboards. So really neo-prog is much more influential than people think it is. But we're not here to talk about neo-prog. We're here to talk about this guy here, this strange engine. Okay. Like I said, this was recorded right after Afraid of Sunlight, and that was, many said that was a good album. I haven't heard that myself, so don't take my word for it. But anyway, uh, this Strange Engine, it's sort of a new direction for Marion. It's not the one I'm talking about where the new lineup from Fish, when Fish left the band and Steve Hogarth took over. That's not what I'm talking about. Although I will give a little background on that and right now. Anyway, Steve Hogarth came with the band. Fish had the more Genesis type of fantastical lyrics. This is more down to earth lyrics here and some fantastical stuff still from their 80s, the older days. But it contains more down to earth lyrics, such as just accidents, lyrics about various accidents in the world, about deeper lyrics, and their album Brave actually goes over several about this girl who takes drugs, and then I'm not going to tell you what happens next because that'd be a spoiler. But such concept albums and stuff like that, so they're more down to earth in this lineup here. But anyway, here's the Strange Engine. When I first saw this album, I admit I thought it was going to be some cool music in here. Really cool complexity stuff. But not really. Not that that's a complaint or anything. There are a lot of good albums that do not have the complexity, but this just doesn't have as much complexity. But tracks such as Man of a Thousand Faces and This Strange Engine and Estonia are progressive rock on this album here, which is as progressive as they get. But good news is there is a nice 15-minute song in here, This Strange Engine, for all you prog fans out there. But yeah, I'll go over the tracks one by one. Man of a Thousand Faces. It starts out with this nice, you wouldn't recognize this progressive rock. It's almost like soft rock. If you see my review before, I did progressive rock reviews. I did review Timothy B. Schmidt's Expando. It sort of reminds me of that album because these guys have sort of they went back on the complexity here, but then it changed tempos to this nice almost keyboard, yes, drama sounding keyboard from their drama album. And yeah, that's Man of a Thousand Faces. Then One Fine Day. That's nothing really to write home about. 80 Days. That's a pretty good song. It brings you back in the mood. It's really good. Uh, yeah, 80 Days is a great song. It cheers you up. It makes you want. It's really a good song. It has good lyrics, good stuff, but still it's simplistic. It's not a progressive song at all. It's nowhere near that, but it's still a pretty good song. Then you have Estonia. This is probably one of the major highlights of the album. Estonia talks about that ship ferry that sunk in Europe when it came out of Sweden, or one of the Nordic countries, but it sunk down there. And I don't know the full details of the accident, but they paid tribute to that terrible accident that claimed nearly all the lives on that ship, which I commend them for writing lyrics like this. They're great lyrics. But Estonia, it includes in the beginning these nice vibraphones, almost xylophones at the beginning. It makes you feel like you're in a submarine underwater looking at what remains of the ship and all the sadness that and just just tragedy that went on during it. But that was awful tragedy. But I'm glad Estonia wrote that. I'm glad Marion wrote that song Estonia. It's really touching. I actually listened to it when I was on my cruise, and it really makes you feel really out there, because I was standing on the boat looking at the land as our ship was going away. I was looking at the land and figuring out if I'd make it back or not. I'd be in the next Titanic, but anyway. But Estonia, I'd highly recommend that one. Memory of Water, nothing special. An Accidental Man, same thing. Hope for the Future is actually, it's an okay song. Hope for the Future, I've heard someone describe on Prague Archives, it sounds like something from The Lion King, which is true, it would. I don't like The Lion King, but that's a good song. Now for the major highlight of the album, the most progressive piece of the album, is This Strange Engine. I'll tell you what the lyrics describe. They describe Steve Hogarth's life, obviously up to this album, which is 97, but it describes his whole life. It has some very meaningful lyrics to it. It includes nice keyboard passages and all sorts of nice guitar solo. It's a really nice song. You have to listen to it. It's probably the highlight of the album by far. But anyway, let's dig into the packaging here. Then you just have very unique packaging here. It's what you can expect from Marillion. They do some very unique stuff. There's some cool artwork there, which is pretty cool. But here we go. Okay, here's the lyrics. Everything. There's obviously some very cool pictures in here. Like, I never really much dug into this booklet until now, but it's really cool. Then it shows the credits, shows the Pete Trevorrow's bass, Steve Hogarth voice, Steve Rothery guitar, Mark Kelly keyboards, Ian Mosley drums and percussion. So that's good right there. And then you have all the song titles down there, which is good. And then it's really cool. Whoever drew this is obviously very talented. But anyway, I say I would give this album without thinking, a 3 out of 5. Just, there's not much complexity and more fantastical stuff into it. But it's too simple, I think, some parts. Like One Fine Day, like 80 Days. That almost sounds like a pop song. It almost sounds too popish for Marillion. But I was a little disappointed when I first listened to it and I got something totally different, pop rockish. I almost thought it was the wrong album. But anyway, I won't give it too much hard criticism. It's a good album, I admit, to listen to when you're down or when you're up, for that matter. It's a really good album for that too. But it's nowhere near the best progressive slash post-rock slash anything experimental album. But yeah, I'd recommend giving it a listen. I mean, it's a good album, like I said many times already. But I'd highly suggest listening to that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I sounded like a fool for saying rate. That's from the old YouTube. I'd say thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, and subscribe. And please catch for the next video. And peace out.